Down and all our life for a while, my darling child. Don't you worry about tomorrow, just let it fade out. What we gotta try now is a new beginning.
So it's currently 8:45 in the morning, and I just finished packaging everything for the bake sale. We're meeting at Outpost to host the bake sale, so yeah, hopefully everything goes well.
This is our bake sale.
Right here we got cake pops, we got lemonade and sweet tea, we got caramel turtle brownies, dark chocolate brownies, fudge brownies, and we got sugar cinnamon cookies.
Ooh.
That's what's up.
This is the aftermath of our
$115.
pretty much $115. We did it! Yeah.
We raised $110, but our goal was to make $200. So the following weekend, we did another bake sale. On Sunday brunch at Outpost, a local musician named Kat Ridgway gave us 100% of her tips. Thanks to her, we have $300, which is $100 more than our goal.
Hi. Hi. Thank you all for coming here and meeting with me today.
Thank you for letting us come here.
Yeah, of course. I thought it would be a better experience for you just than me typing it out. You get to have a experiential experience.
So for the video, can you please state your name?
Yep. My name is Heather Wilkie. I'm Executive Director here at Zebra Coalition.
What do you think challenges the LGBT youth the most?
What do I think challenges them is really not having a supportive environment entirely. A lot of times with youth, they may have support from their school but not from their family, or they may have support from their peers but not from their church, you know. So it's rare to see a youth that has an entire support system that you need to be a healthy person, and that they're supported entirely by their community. And I think that that's where things can go wrong, because if we aren't supported and we don't feel good about ourselves, then sometimes we start behaving in, you know, unhealthy ways or engaging in things that may not be good for us.
Why did you decide to work at the Zebra Coalition?
Well, I started as an intern, so my background from an educational place is mental health counseling. And because personally I identify as LGBTQ, I thought that it would be a good fit for me, knowing that I've also experienced challenges and I can connect with the community in that way. You know, and I also feel like I'm passionate about changing things, about social change, and trying to get people the justice that they need. So I had the educational experience, and I started volunteering prior to my time of working here. So I volunteered for a couple of years, and then when the position came open, I just thought, well, let's go for it, you know. So I've been here for about 3.5 years now, and I love what I do. It's fun.
Have you ever had personal experience that has made you want to do this job?
Of course. I identify as a lesbian. I'm married to a woman, and we have a son together. You know, and I think that helps drive me every day, knowing that, you know, I'm supporting my family in the role, because of course, you know, it's the career path that I took, but it's also, you know, fighting for my own personal life plus the lives of these kids.
What do you think the non-LGBT youth should do more of?
I think sometimes we can call ourselves an ally just because we support the movement, but we aren't actively engaging in opportunities to do things with the LGBTQ community. So just sitting back and saying, hey, I'm cool with who you are, or I support you, isn't as good enough as being an active person, an active participant in the movement. So are you going to Pride? Are you liking us on social media and sharing it with your friends to have those conversations? Do you understand the kind of support that the kind of challenges the LGBTQ community go through? And are you actively working to help us? You know, I think that it's ally work that really needs to be done, because we got to have people on the outside who support what we do.
What do you like best about your job, and what are your intentions?
The thing I like best is when I see the work being done, that it's actually working. So if I see a youth and they have a success story, meaning that they have, I mean, housing is a big part of what we do, so we have housing for youth who have experienced homelessness. If I know I can house a youth who needed that help and that they are able to sustain themselves later, and this was the stepping stone that helped them, that's it, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is to be able to see the success, to know that what you're doing is actually working. And I wouldn't say that that's the same for all youth, but we definitely do see success stories.
How do you think the LGBT community has changed over time?
Well, I'll speak to this community. I think that the Pulse shooting had a major shift in the way that the community responded to tragedy around in support of LGBTQ people. You know, I mean, we can say a lot about like the movement that started, you know, with the Stonewall riots and how we really come together legally, you know, and we provided more opportunity for LGBTQ people as a whole. But just speaking to this community, because I think that's an interesting conversation, is that the Orlando community has united in this issue. And I think for me, it's rare that I have a day where I feel like I'm getting pushback from anybody. I mean, we just don't. We don't get a lot of that, because we know that we've gone through a tragedy together and that we've really overcome challenges together. And it would not be, you know, anything normal for us to say that we've had pushback, right? Like, that's not something that I experienced. So that's good.
What would you do to help the LGBT community?
What do I do? Or, well, hopefully focusing on youth. I mean, that's my piece of it. You know, there's a lot of LGBTQ leaders that are doing great stuff in the community, but every meeting that I go to, I try to make sure that the issues that youth face, which are a lot different than somebody who may be a 30-year-old adult or someone like me, making sure that there's a voice in that, you know, making sure that my area is the youth, and that's how we're driving it. Yeah. So.
In your opinion, what do you think the troubles of the daily youth look like?
You know, a lot of times it depends on their age and where they're coming from. We really have two populations that we work with at Zebra. The one population would be the younger, like individuals who have experienced coming out to their families, who are going through high school, maybe even middle school, you know, who have just issues related to their identity and issues coming out to their family and peers, right? So there's that population. And then there's the population of really high social service needs that are homeless. And so those people have needing a lot more support in different areas, right? So they may not have parental support, so maybe they need housing, maybe they need, you know, medication for psychiatric care. I mean, there's a whole gamut of things that they may need. It's a little different than, say, a 14-year-old who just came out as a transgender person. They may need support with parents, with the school, to help coordinate, you know, correct usage of pronouns and names and all of that. They may need that type of thing versus like somebody who's on the street. They have different needs, right? So it's all over the place.
So for both of us and pretty much all of us from our thing, we wanted to give you this.
Oh, awesome.
This is $300.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You all are amazing.
Your organization.
Oh, I love it. I'd love to publicly thank you on Zebra's page. This is so cool. Oh, thank you all.
You're welcome.
That's amazing. And anything that's fundraised, any support from the community, it goes directly to the youth. So we make sure that they have everything they need.
Overall, we raised a total of $300. for Zebra Coalition, and all funds go directly to the youth. It was nice getting to meet some of the youth there, and they were the most kindest and helpful people ever. The LGBTQ youth shouldn't be afraid to express themselves. We live in a world filled with hatred, but our love overpowers everything. We should all be proud of who we are and shouldn't let anyone get to it.